Hi. It's been a while, yeah, since my last video. Oh, it's been what, 3 months, give or take? And a lot's happened in that 3 months. I've actually moved apartments. I was living in Idabashi and I've moved to Chiba, just the other side of the Tokyo-Chiba border. It's not really far into Chiba. Still work in the same places and such, but today my video is actually going to be a bit more of a personal video, and it's going to be talking about arriving in Japan and like how it was, what you can maybe expect if it happens to you. And the first thing I want to talk about is actually the first time I came to Japan, which was way back in 2016, May 2016 to be a bit more specific. And at the time I was a university student. I was studying English and creative writing at Liverpool John Moores University, and rather than use my student loan to study, I decided instead to use my student loan to fulfill a lifelong dream and visit Japan. So yeah, be responsible, kids. Don't spend your student loan on going on far-flung flights to Asia. Or do, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So off I went to Japan. I think it was May 16th, 2016. And it was an uneventful flight. Actually, no, it was a very eventful flight. Let me start at the beginning. I was living in Liverpool at the time, and there is a direct flight to Japan from London, right? This is like the most simple way to get to Japan without a lot of transfers. I did not take this route. I did not take this flight. Instead, I flew on a kind of very circuitous, very protracted and long route from Liverpool John Moores, from Liverpool John Lennon Airport to Dublin Airport, from Dublin Airport to London Heathrow, and then London Heathrow to Tokyo's Narita Airport. I say Tokyo's Narita Airport because that's how it's listed on like the kind of the flight websites, but it's actually not in Tokyo. It's quite far away. We'll come back to that later. But for now, just know that that was my route, right? Liverpool to Dublin to London to Tokyo. And the reason why I took this like long route, why I took this long circuitous route, is basically it was cheaper. It was ridiculously cheaper. If I flew direct from London, like I got the train down to London or the coach or whatever, and then I flew direct from London, it would have been like nearly double the price. So you know, explain it to me, you know, make it make sense. But that's the way I went. And when I arrived in Japan, actually let me back up in the story a bit. On the day I left the UK, it was a very hot summer's day. It was like a very hot May day in the UK. Rhyming, fun. And I was ill prepared, shall we say. I had packed my carry-on case with a few changes of shirt and like underwear and such, because I knew it was a hot day and I would need to change a few times before arriving in Japan. And when I arrived in Dublin Airport, I don't know if you've ever been to Dublin Airport. It is beautiful. It's a very beautiful and modern airport, but the departure lounges are just glass buildings, like just entirely glass with zero air conditioning. So on this day in Dublin, it was about 31, 32 degrees, sun blaring down, cracking the flags, as we say, and it was hot. It was like very, very hot. And there's me just like waiting for like 3-4 hours in Dublin Airport, just kind of like sweat just dripping off me. And that's before I get to Japan, right? So I get on the plane from Dublin and I fly to London Heathrow, and London Heathrow is more waiting, more kind of like ill-tempered security guards and passengers and security to get through. And then I get aboard on the flight to Tokyo. I arrive in Tokyo, and at this point I've been like traveling for about 20 hours. I've been awake, actually no, I've been traveling for 20 hours, but I've been awake for about 32 hours, 36 hours by the time I get to Tokyo, right? I'm exhausted. Like, why was I awake so long before my flight? Because I was excited. It's my first time in Japan. It's my first time really going overseas by myself. I was excited, so I didn't sleep the night before. I arrived in Japan exhausted. It's very, very hot because it's May in Japan. It's May in Tokyo. Well, in Chiba. Narita is actually in Chiba. Again, we'll come back to this later. And I get off the airplane and I'm walking along like the entrance area, like to go to like the baggage claim, yeah? And there's a guy waiting there with a big sign for me. My name on the sign. I go down and I start talking to him and he's like, oh, we're very sorry. It's like this Japanese guy, like very professional outfit, right? He's like, we're very sorry, but we've mislaid your bag. I'm just like, grand, you know. So what had happened is that like when I'd made the switch at Dublin Airport, they'd actually not put my bag on the plane going to London Heathrow, so I didn't have my bag when I arrived in Japan. This wouldn't have been a problem, except for, like I said, I had been changing in and out of the shirt that I had in my carry-on because of how hot it had been in the UK. So when I arrived in Tokyo, I had a bag, like a carry-on bag, small suitcase really, full of very sweaty shirts and underwear, and the clothes I was wearing were very sweaty and not at all in the best condition, considering I'd just been on like a 14-hour flight. And like I said, it's called Tokyo Narita Airport, but it's actually not in Tokyo at all. It's in Chiba, and it's on the far, far, far end of Chiba, which is roughly by train from Narita Airport to Tokyo, like city itself, is about an hour. So that was my arrival in Japan. Like the first time I came to Japan, the airport, the airline lost my luggage, and I arrived in a very sweaty state. I got to my hotel at around 1 o'clock, and I asked, actually it was a bit early than that, it's about 12 o'clock, and I asked the hotel, is it okay if I go up to the room, I need a shower, I need to change these clothes, I need all this. We're very sorry, sir, but check-in is 3 o'clock only, no exceptions. Thank you very much. So off I go. I'm utterly exhausted at this point. I've been traveling for like 36 hours. Sorry, I've been traveling for like 20 something hours. I've been awake for 36 hours, and it's very, very hot and like very humid, and I'm dead, right? So off I go to Uniqlo to buy some like new shirts, to buy some new like underwear, because I need it, right? I'm not going to get my luggage delivered until like the next day or even like the day after. As a matter of fact, it did come the next day, so that was fortunate in a sense. But off I go to Uniqlo, and that's the first place I went in Japan. That's like the first store I went to was a Uniqlo. It was the Uniqlo in Asakusa Rocks, which is I think it's still there. So I might go there one day just to see what it's like, you know. But aside from that, I just kind of like I went to the Sumidagawa. My hotel was in Asakusa, so I was just staying in that area. I was like, I had my hotel room, actually later I would discover, had a brilliant view of the Sky Tree, which was fantastic. There's many videos of it, many photographs of it. If I can find them, I'll maybe show you some. But regardless, I stayed around the Sumida River for about 2 hours. Not sleeping, just kind of like just watching people go by, and it was a very fun time, even though I was like so exhausted. And I managed to check into my room, and I checked in at like exactly at 3 o'clock, right? Like I made it so like I arrived at the hotel room at like 2:45. I started the check-in process so that like, you know, it was like 3 o'clock on the dot when I got into the room, and then I just like onto the bed. Like, didn't wash, didn't clean, whatever, just onto the bed. I was asleep for like 13, 14 hours. I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning the next day, however long that is. Actually, that's 12 hours, isn't it? So 12 hours, not exaggerating with how much I slept. And then I didn't want to go out of the hotel room at such like a late hour or early hour. I don't know, 3 o'clock is like late or early, doesn't really matter. So I ended up playing Fire Emblem for the rest of the evening, for the rest of the morning, until like it started getting light, and then I went and did some exploring. So that was the first time I came to Japan. I lost my luggage, or the airline lost my luggage. I was awake for about 38 hours. I nearly died of like heat stroke and like dehydration from like not just from like Japanese weather but from the UK weather. I went to a Uniqlo, and then I spent a lot of time playing Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Awakening, if I remember. Actually, was it Awakening? No, it wasn't. It was the one after Awakening, the not so good one. So it wasn't even like I got to play the good Fire Emblem. It was like anyway. So that was like the first time I arrived in Japan in 2016. The next time I came to Japan was in 2019, February 2019 to be specific. And this one was a lot smoother, but still had some little issues. So this one, I flew with, I want to say it was China Airlines, East China Airlines. I don't know, their picture is like a pink flower, whichever one that is, right? And it was a good flight. It was a really nice flight. No problems at all whatsoever, which is why later on I decided to use this company and regretted it. But I used this company and it was very good. So this time I wasn't staying in Asakusa, I was staying in Setagaya, which is a suburb in Tokyo. It's actually a very residential suburb. It's surprising like how different it is from like central Tokyo, even though it's like so very close. I was staying there in a place called Sakura House, there'll be a video of Sakura House later this month at some point. I've not of the actual house I was staying in Setagaya, but of another one, because the Setagaya one was like what, 5 years ago now, 6 years ago. Oof. But this one will be from Moto Hasanuma, Itabashi, which will show what it's like to stay, or not what it's like to stay, but like what the living conditions are like in a Sakura house apartment. Sorry, that was a sidebar. I got a little distracted there. So after arriving in Tokyo in February 2019, my plan, right, was to basically, I had a temporary visa, you know, like the visitor's visa, and my plan was to find a job and get that temporary visa turned into a regular full-time visa, right? This is strictly speaking not allowed, but people do it, right? Because in those days, like I've heard now that they've clamped down on this a lot, but what you used to do is that you would come on a visitor's visa, you would go to a place, you would do an interview, you would get the job, and then you would fly like to China or Taiwan or whatever, have a little holiday, come back, and then like get like the visa stamped at like the airport, right? That's my understanding of how it used to be. Doesn't matter because it didn't happen that way for me anyway. Because when I arrived in Tokyo, I was there for about a week, job hunting and such, and I got an email from the UK about a job. Now this was a job with the civil service, specifically working with like the passport department, if I remember correctly. And it was a job that I'd applied for like maybe like a year before, and basically like I'd gone for like a series of like kind of like interviews and like proficiency testings and such, and I hadn't heard anything back from them, and then they finally said like, oh, we want you to come for like the final round of interviews. I was like, sweet. So I cancelled like my apartment contract in Sakura House in Setagaya. I was expecting to stay there for like at least 3 months, but I was only there for about 1 month. Went back to the UK, went to the interview with the civil service, and I passed the interview. Like they told me like on the spot, yeah, you've got the job. We'll just wait for a start date for you. And that was like I was waiting for like 4 months and like nothing happened. But in a kind of a good way, this led to me actually working my current stay in Japan with Nova. While I was waiting for the civil service job for the start date, I was getting annoyed because obviously I'd like flown back from Japan for it. So I applied for Nova like on a kind of a whim. Like I'd applied for Nova in the past, and I hadn't heard back from them. You know, it'd just been like I heard nothing from them. This is like another part of my life. Like at one point I was applying for like hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and I was just getting like zero replies, zero responses from them. So this was not whatever. This was not unexpected. This time though, I applied for Nova, and I got it like more or less straight away, and which led to me coming to Japan for this time. Like since this time coming to Japan, I've been in Japan since, right? This was in August 2019. Aside from like a trip home for Christmas in December 2019, I've been in Japan since. Excuse me. And the last story like coming to Japan then will be this August 2019 story. And this time I was flying again with the China Airlines, the one with the pink flower symbol, and we were flying from actually I tell a lie, in the February 2019 it was Turkish Airlines. Sorry, it's like Turkish Airlines are really very good. I highly recommend them. China Airlines. We were flying to Taiwan, to Taipei, and then from Taipei we were going to Nagoya, Chubu Central Airport. And as we're flying to Taiwan, like I should mention, like at this point, like I was basically broke. I was basically broke again. I was basically broke. I was completely bankrupt, and I had no money. This was like the last of my capital, you know. This was like the last of the money I had, and I was flying to Taiwan, and I'm noticing it's late. You know, the aircraft is delayed. It's I had a connecting flight at like 12:50, and I'm looking at my watch. It's like I'm looking at the screen, and it says like we've got another like 3 hours to go before we arrive. And it's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, we arrive. We touch down on the tarmac at about like 12 o'clock, and everyone's like you know, standing up and like pushing each other out of the way. It's like hectic as anything. And I'm running through the airport, right? I get my stuff, I get my carry-on, whatever, and I'm running through the airport. I need to get there. And basically, there was a typhoon. There was a huge typhoon, a mega typhoon, that had, how to say, wended its way is correct, into the middle of Japan and Taiwan. So there were no flights leaving that day, and so I had to spend 24 hours in Taipei Airport, and I couldn't leave. I didn't have a visa to leave, and even if I could have got one, I didn't have any money. Like when I arrived in Japan, I had like maybe like I don't know, like 20 quid to my name, which is in Japanese money at the time was about like 3,000 yen. Man, I miss that exchange rate. You know, the yen is so weak right now. But yeah, it was just horrendous. I think I was in the airport for like 24 hours. I couldn't sleep, like, because I couldn't afford a hotel room. So I was just like on like the I was like in a lounge type area. I couldn't buy any food, couldn't buy any drinks. So I was there for 3 hours. So it's 24 hours. And then managed to get to Nagoya, utterly exhausted. Like met the manager who was like supposed to be picking me up, and went to like the office. Went like the when I arrived at the apartment that like had been like provided for me by Nova, and there was no furniture. I had to wait for the person to bring like I say the bed, but really it was just the mattress, the mattress and the futon. I had to wait for them to arrive, so I couldn't even do what I did like in 2016, where I got into the hotel room and just like onto the bed. I had to wait a few hours for that to happen. So fortunately, I did have like a long stretch after that, where it was like a 4-day holiday almost. But like I said, I had no money, so I couldn't go out exploring or buy anything or go anywhere or do anything because I had no money to do it. And the first 3 or so weeks that I had in Japan was just I had like a bag of rice, and that was it. So that was my arrival in Japan. Like the 3 times I've came to Japan, those are the experiences I've had. The first time I lost my baggage, or the airline lost my baggage. The second time I abandoned my hunt for a job very quickly because I was offered a job interview which I went to and passed, but didn't end up getting that job. And then the third time, a typhoon tried to stop me from coming to Japan. So, you know, it's probably why I've been here for like 6 years, is because it was so flippin' difficult. There's so much bad luck trying to get here in the first place that, you know, I had to stay here. It's like if I leave and go again, who knows what's going to happen next time, you know? It's like I'll come back and like there's be like the Nankai Trough will like kind of explode and like taking out like all of Japan or something, you know. Half joking about that. That's a video for another day, actually, talking about the Nankai stuff. But anyway, that's my video for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you got any comments or whatever, please let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.